The world is full of wonders.
Magic is waiting in small moments.
And monsters might be watching, just out of sight.
But if you're looking to find them,
adventure is waiting to happen.
You never know who you'll meet along the way.
We are the Storyteller Squad. Hello, adventurers. Welcome back to the Storyteller Squad. Thanks for joining us for more Monster of the Week. Before we begin, let's check in with our heroes.
Oh, place apart, my home and native land.
Bro!
I'm Damien Edgecrest.
We're back, baby.
God damn.
Oh my god.
What a strong start.
That's the Canadian national anthem for the non-hockey fans out there.
Yeah.
Kind of a slam on Canada, don't you think?
Is it going to be a thing now where every member of this group gets to go thermonuclear and almost destroy everything in a 5-mile radius? I don't like it. But if I had to guess, my money's on Hugo being next. I'm Raven Eugenia.
Wow.
Gets to.
Place your bets, babies. Place your bets.
Hashtag goals.
Now, do you get why I don't do group projects? I'm Ariel Valentine.
Fuck.
Yep.
Insert sound of shell shock, static, and a crackling fire. I'm Hugo Rashad.
No, I will not say good job, team. That mission was shite. I'm Agent Whitaker.
We've got range today.
Time to face the music. I don't think it's going to be a heavenly choir. I'm Aiden Brightwood.
Oh.
Damn.
Let's have an adventure.
How did you make Sad Angel TM funny?
I could say the form and function was a fun little mismatch there.
There are some interesting contrasts between the content and the tone.
Last time, we followed Valentine and her heist crew of cunning criminals as they attempted to break into the well-defended tower fortress of one Alexander Harkness, the Lich antiquities dealer in Portland. Sent by Meridian on a mission to acquire the Lich's amulet and gain control of him and his vast array of criminal power, Valentine's team were bested by the Lich's many traps, and all save for Valentine were slain in the final encounter with the Lich. Valentine, however, was spared thanks to the life-draining battery storing enough spark energy in her pocket to become the target of the Lich's death spell. Not one to turn their nose up at fate, Harkness agreed to let Ariel go and, in fact, transported her to the docks of Portland, where a violent coup was being enacted thanks to King O's new alliance with Prince Orachelio and the Marrow of New Atlantis. We saw the missing merfolk, sirens, and selkies freed from where Meridian had been keeping them prisoner. And we saw King O travel to Meridian's mansion and a final showdown between the two crime lords as Meridian was summarily dispatched and Meridian's assets falling to Vanessa Black, the turncoat in Meridian's ranks, who helped to facilitate this shift in power.
You could just do that?
I mean, I guess that's what happened.
Why does all the big shit happen when we're gone?
Yeah. To like the littlest guy too.
Is it because we're not there?
You were not there to stop any of this.
Listen, if Director EC brings this up in my employee review, I'll be like, well, guess who wasn't in Portland? Not very mindful of you.
All right, that's our one. We get one.
Get one mindful, one demure, one cutesy. I've used the mindful.
Here we go. All right. So, Valentine, you left that scene rather traumatized.
Mm-hmm.
And the powers of the criminal underground in Portland have been forever changed. However, that is not where we will be beginning today. We open on Olivia Eastie's office. As is often the case in Portland, a light rain taps the glass of her large floor-to-ceiling windows that face outward at the forests beyond the agency. Olivia speaks, her tone quite dry and severe. And then what happened? We see Aiden sitting in a chair opposite Olivia's desk, her hands folded in her lap. Her posture is stiff, but it feels focused rather than anxious. Mulligan's team secured the incursion zone, and we established control of the lab site. I think you mean former lab site, correct? If you want to distinguish them, Director. It's not about what I want, Agent Brightwood. She spins around, her expression twisted with frustration. Something I have tried to make clear is not a luxury field agents like yourself are entitled to. When you are wearing this crest, you are a representative of an organization, one, I will admit, with a history that pales in comparison to yours, but a history and reputation and regulations nonetheless, which must be upheld if we are to maintain the faith the public has been so gracious to have in us these past 2 years. Something we never had to worry about, mind you, until a certain group of individuals took it upon themselves to instigate a world-changing paradigm shift.
Oopsie.
Aiden, her voice still flatly calm, says, "Are you asking for an apology, Director?" Olivia tucks a stray hair, which had escaped during her outburst, back behind her ear. "That would certainly be a first from you." She holds up a hand to stop Aiden from delivering the offered apology and continues, "What I want to know is why you saw fit to destroy an entire crime scene when the agency could have learned valuable insights once a formal investigation was performed there. We are, whether you consider it important or not, in the business of understanding magic, including the magic our opponents are wielding, so that we can protect the public from its unbridled practice." With all due respect, Director, that is exactly why I destroyed that place. What the Undyne and Mr. Stone discovered how to do in that lab is a secret that should never be replicated or understood by anyone else. It is not your place to decide that. You do not have the right or authority to make that call and act upon it in the field. Aiden's eyes narrow. In that moment, Director, I was not acting as a field agent for your agency. I was fulfilling my duty as the First Light. Surely you can appreciate why that conflict of priorities would be irksome for me. I think what you find irksome is the existence of something outside your control. The room darkens. Maybe it's a passing cloud, or maybe something else. But Olivia clenches her fists at her sides and stiffly moves away from the window to sit at her desk. Contrary to what you might think, Agent Brightwood, everything can be controlled. Even you. Aiden doesn't respond, but her amber eyes seem to glow in the now dimly lit office and gloom-shaded space. Olivia continues, "You are under the assumption that because you are who you are, there can be no consequences for your shirking of protocol or the chain of command. That is simply untrue. While I may not have the luxury of foregoing your assistance and the public image our alliance provides for the agency, there are things I can start to levy when the execution of your duty contradicts agency mission parameters. Director, I am not trying to be your enemy." I wasn't finished.
Oh.
I'm enacting an official reprimand for disorderly conduct. Effective immediately, Rogue Team is suspended from active duty. Sans 1 Agent Brightwood, whose continued presence in the field acts as an effective deterrent against general threats, magical and domestic.
Oh.
Aiden, for the first time in this conversation, breaks her calm, disaffected composure. "You can't punish everyone else in place of me. That's not protocol either. When you sought to respect protocol, Agent Brightwood, so will I." Aiden stands, her fists tight at her sides, glaring daggers at Olivia. "Control, Agent Brightwood. Do we understand each other?" "We do, Director." "Inform your team of their status. I will have new assignments for you in a day or so." And Olivia reaches for her tablet and begins to scroll through alerts. Aiden storms out of Olivia's office, makes it a few steps down the hall, glancing back over her shoulder before colliding with a flurry of papers into another agent. The two of them tumble to the ground, and as Aiden sits up, we see this nondescript agent scrambling to collect the report they dropped. I'm really sorry. Are you hurt? No, I'm fine. My fault. I was in a rush. No, it's on me. I don't think we've met. I'm Aiden. Yeah, I know who you are. You can call me Jace. Nice to meet you, Jace. Jace tucks the last of the papers sloppily into the folder they're carrying, and Aiden helps him stand. Good luck in there. You're gonna be a hard act to follow. I wouldn't count on it. See you around. Yeah, maybe. And Aiden leaves. We see Jace spot one page still on the ground as they rush over to collect it and slip it into their stack. And we see the familiar design of an arcane engine printed out as a schematic. Jace opens the door to Olivia's office. Director? Update for you. As they enter the office, our camera cuts to black. Hunters, it is now once again time for downtime. What would you like to do?
Something tells me our downtime will be lasting a little longer than expected.
Yeah, goddamn.
Valentine, let's start with you, since we had left with you in the action of the story last.
Oh, I actually was not expecting to be first.
Alternatively, we can do a scene if you guys want any scenes post like the kickoff of downtime or want a flashback to something that happened in Seattle, or if there's things you want to fill in and don't feel comfortable just like letting be part of that little time skip, let me know. We'll do them now.
I was not expecting to be first. I was actually thinking of saving the thing I had in mind for downtime for maybe later.
My thought is what your downtime is about directly could affect what Whitaker's downtime is about.
Yeah.
Okay, I think there was a miscommunication maybe on my end. That was something to like hand wave and just give to Whitaker and let that exist. That wasn't supposed to be a whole scene.
But it could be a 20-minute dialogue between us two.
Well, I had a potential other 20-minute dialogue between Val and Whitaker because of the downtime that I did have planned.
Gotcha. Okay. What do you want to do for Valentine's downtime? And I'll see if I can readjust.
It's gonna be sad.
Oh no. Oh no.
I'll DM you.
What? That's not fair. I was going to make mine sad.
Everyone can be sad. That's fine. We can all be sad and cry together.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
That's a reaction. Oh boy.
I made myself real sad at work thinking about it.
I want both.
Okay. If you want both, we can do both.
Listen, we're probably not going to see Valentine for a little bit. I'm fine giving you a decent chunk of the first half.
Heard. Okay.
Oh yeah.
That feels reasonable.
Okay. This happens very shortly after the coup. We cut to the living room of Trixie Hobbs's apartment. We see Valentine still scraped up, kind of harried. Her hair is all over the place. She's wearing just like a regular t-shirt and some beat up jeans, and she's hurrying around Trixie's place, grabbing all of her things, which are mostly just clothes, and just stuffing them into a duffel bag very aggressively and frantically. And she stops for a minute. Trixie, I feel like, has notepads all over the apartment, or even just stray pieces of paper, and she grabs a pen.
There's lots of little like spiral notebooks and then a bunch of like the pencils you get at mini golf.
Oh my god, they would be the mini golf pencils.
Trixie would say,
They give them out for free.
Yeah, no, they do give them out for free. So she grabs one of these pencils and like, you know, those like old school 8.5 by 11 size notepads that like businessmen put in those like leather folios.
Mm-hmm.
She's got one of those on the coffee table, and Valentine takes it, kneels down at the coffee table, and starts scribbling out something. Again, aggressively, frantically pressing into the paper. The pencil snaps. She goes, ugh, and then grabs for another one and keeps writing. And then we see her fold it up really quickly. It's not very neat. And she goes, envelope, envelope. And scatters around in like Trixie's kitchen, pulls open a drawer, finds like a little junk drawer that happens to have, envelopes and paper clips and like a couple of like extra random things. And she pulls one out and she stuffs the note into the envelope. And then she grabs another pencil or pen.
I think we hear footsteps in the kitchen and we see Trixie rubbing at her eyes because it's early in the morning. Like if you have rushed back from what just happened to Valentine to like do this, Trixie would not have gotten up when you came home because she knows you're living there. But hearing all this stuff, she just sort of walks forward.
If you were gonna rob me, you could at least wait until I left for the day.
I gotta go, Trix. I gotta go. Listen, I need you to do me a favor, okay? And she finishes writing a name on the envelope and turns it around, licks the glue side of the envelope and seals it shut. I have to go, but I need you to do me a favor and I need you to find someone and I need you to give this to him, okay? It's important. But I can't stay here and I can't explain. I just need you to give it to him.
She shakes the sleepiness out of her face and she says,
What? You're leaving? All right.
I got to. I can't explain.
No, I understand. I wouldn't want you to. Again, the less I know. Okay. Whitaker? Who's that?
Oh, no. So she hands her the envelope and it says Sir Christopher Lee on it. Yeah, and
I have bad news for you, kid.
No. It's a nickname. His actual name is Whitaker. He's an agency guy. Old. Got a bunch of scarring on like one side of his face. I don't know where he lives.
Okay, all right.
You ever see that Angel chick on the news? They work together. They're part of a team.
Okay, that's enough for me to go off of. Of course, I'm gonna want my retainer.
Yeah, fine. I can pay you, and I don't know what her fee is, but Val still has the cash from when she won at the casino, so...
If Valentine goes to reach for any money, Trixie smiles and like puts a hand on your hand for a second to try and like calm you down.
Which, of course, will go on your tab.
My tab?
5 Chinese dinners, laundry for the week, etc. I'm keeping track. Don't think I'm gonna let it slide this time.
I might not be able to pay that back for a bit, Trix.
What can you do? Friendship. Not about keeping track of the money.
She will punch your hip because it's as high as she can reach on you.
Oh, I love them. Oh, they are wonderful.
Her eyes well up a little bit and she has to like choke it back. She kind of like coughs and just like smiles at Trix and ruffles her hair because Trix is shorter than her.
She doesn't have it in the pigtails. It's a mess.
Yeah. Find him. Give that to him for me. He'll know it's from me.
You got it.
I gotta go. And she's gonna walk over to her duffel bag, which she left on the couch, and she scoops it up and slings it over her shoulder. She stops in the doorway for one brief second, and she's trying not to crack, but you can see her lips are trembling, and she just goes, "Thanks for everything, Trix."
I'll see you out there, kid.
And she leaves.
Whitaker, let's jump to you. We can do whatever downtime activity you would like, but at some point I will have information reach your hands.
The scene I had in mind is like the tail end of a very, not quite shouting, but very tense discussion behind the closed door of Director Eastie's office, where Whitaker is like shouting with Director Eastie to try and get this decision reversed.
Oh.
Ooh.
And he is, of course, unsuccessful in doing so.
Yeah.
And as he opens the door and just kind of like almost slams it behind him, but doesn't want to like press his luck, Aiden is just like standing there. Tried to see if there was any budging on the decision, I guess.
Sure. So I think Aiden was probably the last of Rogue Team to be debriefed about Seattle. But then after her meeting with the director, she had to come break the news to the rest of you about Olivia's decision. And she seems upset about it, but it comes across way more that she is pissed at Olivia rather than her apologizing for you all getting punished in her place. She's using you all to flex leverage on me, which is infuriating, and even more so because it's working. So, Whitaker, I guess we see you storm off to speak to the director.
Yeah. Oh, he sure do.
Anyway, you scream at Olivia. She screams at you back.
They scream very Britishly at each other.
I love the subtitles for that. Screaming Britishly.
Yes. All right, so you have that interaction with Olivia, and then you can find Aiden. She's probably waiting in like the lobby of the headquarters, either with everyone else or just like off on her own.
Yeah, Whitaker lets out a long sigh and makes eye contact with her.
I assume no good news?
Walk with me.
She will follow you. Where do you go?
The Eastie agency we've established is in like the middle of the woods. It's got a nice woodsy backdrop, so I think, as is now tradition for squad members who are angry at each other.
We must talk in the woods about our feelings.
That's right. Let the trees absorb our anger.
Therapy in the woods. Go touch grass.
So the two of them are walking through, like, trails beyond the agency. Needless to say, Agent Brightwood, I'm very upset with you.
I understand.
Is that it?
I did what I had to do. I'm sorry it's affecting more than me, but I'm not sorry for what I did.
To be clear, I'm not angry at you for destroying the laboratory. Honestly, if I could have, I would have done the same. Aiden, leading up to that point, the way you acted around Carla was deeply disruptive to our mission, and I want to be clear, I won't stand for it again, assuming I am put back on duty with you.
I think that's fair. Once I realized what they were doing, I did not react well.
Giving out the tattoos, specifically?
Yes. At least at the rate they were, and without any guidance.
Aiden, I understand that you, in your infinite wisdom, have some opinions about how humans should be using magic. But let me set the timeline straight on that. Carla had been giving out tattoos for at least 2 years. But we weren't called in to deal with her. We were called in to deal with Declan Stone. And thank God we did. I'm not saying she's above critique. I'm saying your fixation on telling her how best to serve her community nearly lost us a very important ally.
So, are you upset with me over protocol or your own personal feelings about Carla and her people? Because officially, our only allies in Seattle were Agent Lake and his team.
Do you really think you can lecture me on personal and professional feelings, First Light?
Apologies, Agent Whitaker. It's just that what I'm being grilled about today hasn't been very consistent.
What Carla was doing was at worst reckless, and you don't have a leg to stand on when it comes to recklessness.
You can't compare the risks I take to save people with handing out weaponized magic to the public.
Declan Stone was going to kill the poor and the homeless, regardless of what Carla was doing.
I dealt with Declan Stone! You'll notice I only turned one location in that city into a crater.
Girl.
Aiden's wings have flared, and she's hovering slightly off the ground.
Aiden, calm down.
She quickly realizes what you mean and dismisses her wings. She looks away and takes some deep breaths. God, I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Sorry, that was...
Just...
My issue with Carla's practices. I felt someone needed to put what she'd been doing into perspective.
By calling it a war.
She called it that first. Humans are very quick to call conflicts wars. It helps them justify all sorts of decisions.
Aiden, I'm not really speaking as your superior here. I'm thinking about what I was told a little while ago, about how things have always been dangerous for people on the fringes, and it's becoming clear to me that I don't think the agency has the tools or the breadth to actually handle these sorts of problems. And I don't know if I need your perspective on this, Aiden, but you might have all the time in the world to sift through the hurdles of bureaucracy, but I don't. And they don't.
She'll walk over to you and try to make eye contact, and she says, I don't think you're wrong. Humans have struggled with magic since they could first wield it. And in every case I've seen, without long and disciplined training, access to magic has been like handing a loaded gun to an infant. Regardless of what one individual ends up doing with it, the potential for disaster is there, especially when you add pressure from outside forces. I know Carla was giving people tools to defend themselves. That's how she put it. But she wasn't teaching them how to fight or how to avoid one, telling them when it might be a better choice to walk away. My issue is not humans with magic. It's humans without guidance and good teachers. And there are far too many of you for any group or organization or first light to get it right all the time. You think the Whispered and the agency are struggling? I've been messing this up for thousands of years. And she goes quiet.
Yeah. I was going to ask if anything like this has happened before, but I think he would know more than anyone in the group.
Yeah.
So he nods, and if she lets him, like, wrap an arm around her shoulder as they walk.
Yeah.
It's weird. I've spent the last several years now trying to undo the idea that all magic is dangerous inherently. That belief nearly had me at Hugo's throat by the end of the fucking road trip. I don't know if you need me to say it, but don't let that idea that all magic is a loaded gun. Don't let that rule you.
I'm predisposed to see the good in people. I think maybe that's why it hurts so much to see good intentions that end up making a situation worse. When someone knows they're right, they're the least open to hearing a different perspective. And that's not just a human thing. As you reach the trail, as it loops back around towards headquarters, she will take a deep breath. I will behave for Olivia if it means getting you all back on the team sooner.
Can you tell me literally everything she has you do?
Yeah, of course.
And if you get a second, could you sneak this onto her laptop for me? I couldn't get close enough while we were fighting. And he hands her like a little transmitter, some sort of I'm trying to hack into Olivia's laptop device.
She takes it. She goes, well, this'll for sure get us all fired. Was that good? Does that feel okay? Everyone feel okay with that scene?
That felt good.
Yeah.
No, I think that worked. Like, initially I was gonna be more like, punitive about it. And then like I was catching up on the end of the episode, and then we talked about what happened, and I'm like, this feels like a not worth being super angry about.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Let's dig into it. Let's dig in and just see what's in Aiden's head. And I liked what was in Aiden's head.
Mhm.
Yeah, it is a weird space to be in, playing a character who is like critiquing a grassroots community leader for doing something that, like, in the absence of other pieces of this world would be like totally justifiable. But it's like Aiden has, like you say, the I wouldn't even call it wisdom, but just the breadth of history to be like, it's never worked out well.
Yeah, I like specifically I wanted it to be like made very clear about like the thing we are critiquing Carla on. Like what specifically about this was bad, because it wasn't the grassroots bit. It wasn't the trying to help her community bit. It was this specific bit.
Yes, exactly.
Mhm.
And I
Yep.
wanted that to be like nice and teased out.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. It's very much the like unsupervised execution of it that Aiden was just like, oh, God damn it. Like,
Right, like the thing that is happening right now doesn't really have a real world stand-in that like Whitaker could map this onto, right?
yeah, right.
Yeah. Tight.
Anyway. Whew,
Yay.
good stuff. All right.
Good job.
Who wants their downtime? Who's ready for your sad pills?
Your sad pills. Wow.
I have stuff, but I'm always happy to let other people go first.
No, let's go to Damien. You just found out you're suspended.
Yeah, so this is like the next day.
It can be days later if you want. We can move on from like that immediate aftermath. It can be whenever you'd like.
Okay. So Damien comes home and like immediately goes to the freezer So
Mhm.
Prithee probably hears that and is like, oh, why are they home so early?
Yeah, sure. Okay, yeah. We'll say Prithee like comes out of their room where they're like working on some code from home. Taking a long lunch today, Damien?
We are suspended.
You know, you don't need an excuse to eat a pint of ice cream in front of me. I've made worse choices.
And yet, like, you see Damien is like grabbing the ice cream tub, and he's also like grabbing the vodka bottle in the freezer with his other hand,
Mm-hmm.
and he just slides the vodka bottle back in. Yeah, well, some nonsense, but I guess I have the day off, so I was gonna go take a bath.
Oh, shit, you're actually serious. I'm sorry. God, sounds like Seattle was pretty rough then. Are you all right?
Why would I be? I mean, why wouldn't I be?
Oh my god.
Oh, God.
Yeah, no, it's cool. Sometimes life's just like that.
Prithee will walk up behind you and give you a hug around the waist, and they say, it's okay to feel things.
Oh.
But you don't have to do it in front of me. If you want to cry in the bathroom, I can let you go. I'll get back to work.
Yeah, no, I'm fine. This is the day off. This is vacation time. So I will catch you later.
All right. Maybe I'll order a pizza tonight.
Lots of toppings.
Every single one.
You rock, Prithee.
They'll go back to their room.
And as Damien heads to the bathroom, the camera view is from the kitchen table where the salt shaker is missing.
Ooh.
And Damien unscrews the salt shaker and dumps it into the bathtub as he begins to fill it.
Oh. Oh.
Damien hops in the bathtub
Mm-hmm.
Bro.
and dunks his head under the water and gargles.
Please roll plus weird for a paranormal downtime move.
Bro, what are you doing?
8 plus 3 is 11.
You slip beneath the salted water that you have created. A moment passes. It's warm. Then it's kind of really warm. And then it's dry? Water shouldn't be dry. And yet it is. It scratches at your skin. You really got to take a breath. You've been under it for a while. What do you do?
Damien brings his head up and stands up and takes breath.
You breathe in the scent of rust and blasted sand as you stand but trip and then splash and crawl out onto the shore of a barren shoreline.
What?
Along this beach that extends in both directions infinitely towards a horizon, you see piles of trash making a slow march towards a jagged crop of rocks that stick out of the water.
Oh.
And you look back and you see the water you had been in is this perfectly contained circular lake. Even though you'd just been splashing in it, there are no ripples and no waves. And a whisper on the wind calls your name.
And he'll crouch down, tuck his knees up so both sides of his head just sort of cover up from the wind. Hi, Levy.
You crouch down and you are no longer where you were on the shore, but suddenly you are now crouching in this little tide pool area near the rocks. And you see the gaunt, slime-coated form of Leviathan's upper torso pushing itself up as she stares down at you from this jagged perch. Her long, serpentine, strangely finned lower half trails into the lake and vanishes beneath the surface. It's darkened by an oil-slick ichor, but you recognize your old patch-covered vest draped around her shoulders. It looks heavy and awkward. Too much weight for her sickly frame. She speaks. What do you have?
I have thanks for helping me with that girl and for helping banish that tree hydra. Couldn't have done either without you.
You ask for strange things and give stranger. And she holds up crumpled, wet photographs of you and your friends, and a couple keychains. She glares at them for a moment and then tosses them over her shoulder. They vanish into the lake without a sound or splash.
Wild.
Well, I know you don't like just any old thing. You like things that mean a lot. That's the cost.
I like even less losing things which are mine. Your jacket was not the payment.
No!
Then what do you want?
She holds out an open hand, and suddenly, dancing in her palm, is the tiniest fragment of spark energy. She quickly closes a fist around it, and when she does, an oil-slicked chain travels from her hand and pierces your chest, immediately going taut as if you were hanging suspended from it.
To reforge our connection, no greater gift have I received.
Girl.
And she pulls just slightly more on the chain, and it quivers under the tension between you two. Another tug, and you would need to step into the water or risk falling forward entirely.
Do you think we could trade? I stay safe here, and you go up to the surface?
What?
Aiden gets hurt when she heals me. People have to use their magic to help me. And I never thought I'd get a best friend, but I keep breaking and ruining all his stuff.
Oh.
Making a pact with you. I've seen my friends kill people for less.
Damien.
I feel like this is the safest place for me. And then you could go to the surface and maybe even stop crying.
You are afraid of her.
Aiden is invincible when she wants to be, and she can destroy anything she doesn't like. Of course I'm scared of her.
Oh.
There is a flicker again, that like static thrum, and suddenly Levy is holding the chain very close. You see the oil tears dripping from the sides of her face. And she says,
She was always a little scary.
and she will let go of the chain. It stays connected to her hand, but it draws slack out as she moves and turns away from you to go into the water.
There is no safety in this exile, Edgecrest. What you need to feel safe again is power. Perhaps together we will find it.
I don't like leeches, so I'm trying not to be one. I don't want to do that anymore.
You are no leech now, Damien Edgecrest. There are others who can fill such roles. You are chosen.
What does that mean?
Girl, what the fuck?
The tension on the chain pulls you into the water with a silent, and you sit up in the bathtub.
Natalie, that was a choice of words. That last line. I'm afraid.
Yeah, I felt like we needed some brevity.
What does that mean? I'm so afraid.
It's balance. We love it.
Who's next?
There's so good.
Durs, what the fuck? This is so fucking good.
So fucking good.
Get out.
It was already mind-blowing when Damien bound himself to Leviathan again, but what the fuck, my guy?
Wait a second. It's Brat season. Damien Green, Brat season.
Oh my god, right?
Damien Brat Summer. Not very demure, not mindful.
Not very modest.
Damien Summer.
It's all you, baby. It's all you.
We gotta get Durs a bright green Brat shirt now.
It just says slime in the same font.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Raven, what would you like to do for downtime?
I'd like to go home to Autumn Falls
That sounds nice.
and catch up with a friend of mine.
Okay, sure.
I don't know if most of the group is going to go to Autumn Falls at some point now that we are suspended, but
I mean, you and Aiden go home.
that's true. Aiden and Raven head home. Raven's planning on being home for the time being until told to go to work otherwise.
Aiden awkwardly makes some small talk as you're prepping to leave the agency. Suppose this makes me the breadwinner for a while.
I mean, let's be real, you're always going to kind of be the breadwinner in this relationship.
That's not true. We make the same thing.
Yeah, but you've got like so many years of money saved up.
Okay, but I don't touch that except for emergencies.
I'm fine being a sugar baby. Don't worry about it. I knew what I signed up for.
She will hug you for like a long moment where like you think like, oh, is she going to teleport us home? But she does not.
Yeah, that's okay.
And she just sort of stands there and is just like, I'm really sorry, Raven.
It's okay. Let's go home.
You're back to Autumn Falls.
Amazing. Raven is going to stop by the Maple Leaf and pick up some pastries. And then she's going to head to Granny Jones's house.
Amazing. I feel like we've described her house before, but I don't have anything specific in mind. I think we said it was like a little brick raised ranch style home with a lot of like decorative ceramic things inside and a very like woodsy lodge aesthetic to it.
I picture it as very maximalist cottagecore.
Yeah. You ring the doorbell, and a few minutes later, Granny Jones appears in the doorframe with a bright smile. Ah, Raven, come in, come in.
She'll hold up the cinnamon buns she got from the Maple Leaf and say, I got the usual.
And I have brewed the usual. Let's sit down. Tell me all about what you've been up to lately.
Oh, boy.
And you can go into her living room and share a treat.
I think she'll start off with like, work trip was crazy. We're suspended. Doesn't give her like a ton of details, but catches her up on probably like the last month or so of stuff. Raven goes and visits her about once a month. And she has been for the last 2.5 years at least. Specifically since Amity and Mira disappeared.
Yeah.
Raven and I think some other people in the community kind of took turns, not taking care of her, but just checking in and like having afternoon tea with her once a week just to see how she's doing, knowing that this person, Mira, in her life isn't living with her for the time being. So and she's like this revered member of the community. So I think it's just the ladies in town all go take turns spending time with her. And Raven was happy to be part of that cycle.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
It's sort of a nice split too, you checking on Beatrice and Aiden, looking out for Angela.
I think for a while, part of the greeting as soon as she got there, it started off with Raven asking, like, have you heard anything? Is there any news? And then it slowly turned into Beatrice opening the door and just being like, nothing yet. Just immediately, like, you know, like that's the first thing she's gonna ask. Let's just get it out of the way. Still haven't heard anything. It's okay.
Yeah.
And then not dwelling on it, not talking about it, but just anything? Nope. Okay.
I think Beatrice would phrase it as, oh, hello, hi, how are you? And she would say, no news, but what you brought.
I like that. Yeah, just to immediately get it on the table.
But yeah, I think as you share your exploits of the past month, there was maybe a period there where like Raven wasn't sleeping and work was really stressful, where you like had to miss one of the times you were supposed to go see her, you know? She takes a sip of the tea and sets it down. She says, the exciting life of a celebrity. So glad I never broke into that business.
Yeah, I never asked for it, but I think we're doing okay. I think we're handling the fame as best we can. It's still weird, but it's going all right.
I imagine that feeling doesn't go away. You just get better at hiding it.
I kind of hope so. I don't know if I would ever want to be used to this. I like that it's weird.
Weirdness seems to be our comfort zone. She gestures around at her strangely magical house.
There's good weird and bad weird. This, she gestures, good weird. Getting stopped on the street for people wanting my girlfriend's autograph, kind of bad weird.
How is Aiden doing?
She's okay. I think she's taking it pretty hard. Like I said, she's not suspended. Just everybody else on the team. Even though it's for something she did. She's struggling with that. I think she's struggling with working at the agency in general as the first light.
Well, speaking from my own days as part of the workforce, and Beatrice pauses like she's caught herself from saying something that might bring the mood down, but she takes a moment, sets her drink down on a side table, and then says with a lot of warmth in her tone, no matter who you are, it can be hard to be away from the ones you love. For any amount of time, even if you have a lot of it.
Can I ask kind of a personal question?
Her face brightens up. You see a big smile. It creases all the wrinkles in her face. And she says, what else are we doing here, my dear?
I guess that's true. How do you deal with the difference in lifetimes between you and Mira? Is it something you're at peace with? Was that something that was difficult to understand or accept?
She thinks for a moment, and she says, it's not easy falling in love with an immortal, but you don't think about that at first. All you think about are her eyes, and her smile, the things she does that warm your heart. Until that initial infatuation wore off, it was hardly on my mind. But eventually I did start to have concerns. The more I learned about the folk and the way they live, it took some soul searching to decide if I wanted to be with someone who I literally could not grow old with, just in front of. But no relationship is without its challenges. And for Mira's part, she would often say, age is a number, and I've never gotten along with any of the ones past 20. Bless her sense of humor. It will mean different things to you as the years pass, I think, as it has for us. And like anything, it will change. And you will change. And despite her longevity, I think you will see her change too. That's sort of inevitable when being with someone.
Yeah. Have you ever wished that you could also live longer, even if it would separate you from the rest of your friends and family?
I don't think there is a person who doesn't. It perhaps becomes more a stark and pressing thought when you are so close to someone for whom the days do not stack up. Mira promised to be with me as long as she could be. I promised the same. I think in the end, whatever length of time I have, best to be grateful for that than to worry about if it was the right amount. I don't think you can put a value on it. She will reach out and sort of pat your hand, and she says, and you are quite young, my dear girl. You have plenty of time. It will go quickly. Quicker than you maybe could even guess.
I mean, already, it's gone by so fast.
When you look back on it, it will feel long and full.
I think it will.
Mm.
I think Raven will, look around her house to try and find. I'm sure she's got photos of everybody she knows. She's gonna try and find a picture of Mira. Just stare at it for a moment, and just go, I'm really glad they're back.
She looks over at this photograph, and you see it's like a old, actually printed out photo, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of sun faded a little bit, but it shows Mira and Beatrice on some hiking trip or whatever. Beatrice is in her mid-30s. They're both just beaming and smiling for whoever's with them taking the picture. And she says, yes, so am I. I am grateful for all the time I had to pick up new hobbies, which reminds me. And she reaches down underneath her chair. There's a little wicker basket with some yarn and other stuff in it. But she pulls out this beautiful knit scarf and she says, I wanted to give you this.
Oh.
It's my third one, so it's much better than the first.
It's beautiful. Thank you. You didn't have to do that.
But I could, and I chose to, and that's what makes it good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming to talk to me. It's nice having friends, nice hearing about the world through the lens of someone. Oh, seeing a side of it, but not a lot of people get to. It was a bit lonely, I will say, keeping the secret of magic for so long. Now that it's out, none of the magic I do is exciting enough to make the paper.
I'm sure you've still got some tricks up your sleeve that would surprise the town.
She winks and snaps her fingers and will sparkle.
All right, well, I've got to go figure out what to do with my next week, 2 weeks, until my boss decides I can go back to work. Maybe I'll pick up knitting.
Ooh, I have a book for you too then. Here, you should take this. It'll get you started.
They start a knitting circle.
Raven will leave with some knitting books, some knitting needles. That was it. That's all I wanted.
Beautiful. I love it.
This was just catching up and talking about our very old girlfriends.
Mm-hmm.
Hooray.
Downtime. That one almost got me.
Honestly, almost got me a little bit.
Oh, I was like, God, how do I talk about love? Give me back to demon contracts.
No, that was exactly what I wanted, and I have been telling myself for literally like a year, like, oh, Raven should go catch up with Granny Jones at some point. And I'm glad that we waited till now and had this conversation instead of just like, oh, we catch up about nothing.
Mm-hmm. No, this is important.
This was good. This is what she needed.
Yeah. How's Raven feeling?
It's all right. She's gonna go learn how to knit until she could go to work again.
Love that. Love that for her.
First order of business, learn how to knit a scarf, knit Granny Jones one in return.
Yeah, I love that.
And then one for Aiden and one for her mom.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It's going to be fun.
All right, Amity, downtime for you.
So everyone in the group gets a little folded up and like wax sealed little card appearing under their doors one day. It magically slides under the door crack at everyone's homes and abodes. And when people open it, it says, insert park name here, such and such date, 2 p.m. Be there, with a little heart next to it. And then it says Amity on the bottom. I'm going to say it's a park in Autumn Falls. And when they arrive, Amity has set out a bunch of picnic blankets and brought a couple baskets of goodies with Mira's help. And the whole squad is invited. And so's Granny Jones. And so's Anya. And she just kind of organizes this little surprise gathering for everybody because it's been a few days and I feel like by now she heard about the suspension and the forced leave. And when people show up, hopefully around the same time, she just goes, I just wanted to make sure you guys get outside a little bit. I know you've been doing a lot of hard work and last time was really hard. So I hope this is okay. I tried to get a whole bunch of varieties of snacks. Ta-da!
It is weeping. Fully breaks down. Like she's been holding it together. She's fully just.
Oh. Amity will go over and hug Aiden.
I don't want you to be scared of me.
Amity just hugs her and just kind of shh, and just kind of pats her back, lets her let it out for a second. And she goes, Aiden, I'm not scared of you. I was scared of what you did. There is a difference. You made a scary choice. But I know and I've seen you do better.
She takes a minute, takes some breaths, and she says, in situations like that, I don't know if it's me making that choice. It's not my power I'm using. I know what I'm doing, but once I commit to that, I can't take it back halfway.
It's like opening a floodgate.
It's a bit like sending a message. This thing shall not be. I don't know how else to describe it. Thank you for making a picnic. She'll just kind of lean her head against your shoulder.
It's gonna be okay. Now get a cookie before the bugs start eating them.
You guys can have a picnic.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to say things or?
Yeah, how's Damien doing? Out of curiosity.
How's Damien reacting to that admission from Aiden?
I think Damien is probably pretty unsocial and just sort of reacting unfazed to things in small doses and is kind of checked out.
I feel like Amity is regularly bringing Damien snacks because she doesn't know what humans' foods he's like actually tried, like as a human.
Hugo, are you here? Whitaker would have offered you a ride.
Oh, he biked over with Anya.
Of course he did.
All the way to Autumn Falls from Portland?
Snipe speed, baby.
Snipe speed.
Oh, shit. All right.
Anya's just got little goggles on.
He's going to quickly walk over and give Damien a green tea sobe, though, because he's got to try it.
Thanks, Hugo. I didn't know they still made these.
Oh, they don't.
It's incredible. Thank you.
Hugo, I haven't seen you since we were definitely not in Seattle together. How have you been holding up?
I've been tired, but good. How about you guys? Welcome to the land of vacation.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's good to relax.
Yeah. So, Hugo, I've got a lot of free time on my hands now, so if you need, assistance with anything whatsoever.
Do you want to teach some classes?
What the fuck could I teach a bunch of high schoolers?
Oh, actually, is that job still open, Hugo?
That job is still open.
Okay, I'm interested.
Cool, you got the job.
Cool.
Oh, I was going to write a reference letter and everything, but no, that saves a step. Thank you.
How about you be my assistant teacher instead?
Should have kept my mouth shut.
Oh, Damien, you'd make a great assistant teacher.
I agree.
Yeah, I'll help.
I should note, our funds are kind of tight, so
That's okay. I live at home.
I realize that would be a hell of a commute for you, and I know you've gotten really, really good at that broom riding stuff.
And teleporting.
Oh,
It's a little startling, isn't it?
just a little bit.
Mm.
We have space.
Okay. I mean, if there's a place for me to stay, I can, stay the night before, and I'm just gonna be everywhere now, aren't I? Oh boy. Couple of days at Mom Angela's, couple of days maybe with Raven and Aiden, couple of days at the community center. I'm just gonna be everywhere.
Aiden smiles as she finishes the cookie you handed her. Get used to it.
I mean, I already did it for 1 year. What's a few more?
Referencing their road trip.
Mm-hmm.
It beats the trailer.
I assure you we have spaces with far more room.
Okay. Well then, I'm hosting the next sleepover.
Pause for a second. It's like, yeah, okay.
Oh yeah, of course you guys are invited too. I mean, just us girls did a sleepover, when I first got back, but we can do an everybody sleepover too. Thanks, that's a good idea, Hugo.
Yep, me with the ideas.
It's a great idea, Hugo.
Anya speaks up and she says, I would love to go on a sleepover. It sounds like a great time.
Oh, I'd love to have you. Oh, we could play so many games.
I've never actually done one.
Oh my god, we have to now.
We have to do it.
Anya, sleepovers are so fun. Have you ever gotten your nails did? It's phenomenal stuff, really.
I am very good at braiding hair.
Oh, you would be.
You'll fit right in. This is perfect.
It's gonna be great.
Just to be clear, do not invite me to the sleepover. I don't know about how much I can explain to your mum about how I'm not actually a 70-year-old man.
You can absolutely come to the sleepover, Whitaker. Don't worry about it. If I'm staying at the community center apartments, then Mom doesn't have to worry about it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I was assuming that this sleepover would be happening at Aiden and Raven's because the community center was staff bunk room
That's true.
and not full apartment.
Oh, I didn't know this. This is on me.
I think that's what Hugo is implying, but I love the idea that Amity plans to do it there anyway.
We're all just picturing it in different places.
Oh, amazing.
Suddenly 12 sleepovers on the schedule. It's a thing.
Perfect.
Yes.
Mhm.
There's a rotation of which place is the sleepover at.
We have so much time on our hands.
Welcome to the Storyteller Squad, where we continue to live vicariously through our characters.
We can have as many sleepovers as we want.
Yeah, our only group sleepovers happen at COD.
Time on our hands. What a wonderful thing.
Time on our hands, friend sleepovers.
Picnics.
As they're packing up, Whitaker will go over to Hugo and say, genuinely, Hugo, I will go crazy. if I don't have something active to do. So if you don't invite me on your fucking vigilante work, I swear to God.
I was worried about what type of active you meant. That kind of makes sense, I guess, but still.
Hugo, you have a girlfriend, and I respect that.
What?
What is that? What
is that?
Oh my God.
Raven's gonna pipe up and hold up the really ugly scarf she started knitting because it's really bad and it's her first one.
There's
She's
a
gonna-
missed stitch. The rows are all.
Yeah. Oh, it's so lumpy. You could take up knitting, learning new hobbies.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, I can be a grandmother and a grandfather. Wonderful idea, Raven.
Well, you already know how to pearl 2, stab twice.
Beatrice is right there.
Fuck, that was good.
Beatrice is there. She's lost in a moment with Mira. You get away with it.
It's so fucking funny.
But yeah, Whitaker, if you find yourself really that bored, there's plenty of stuff to happen. And honestly, I might need a bit more than just your help.
Well, you've got the whole team sans straight A student over there. Looking over at Aiden.
Teacher's pet, you mean?
Aiden is actually, she's like got one headphone in and is just sort of laying on one of the blankets with Ruby. She's like actually looks finally relaxed after like a couple days of her just being like completely stepping on eggshells around everybody.
Oh.
Good.
Yeah.
Probably for the best. She's pretty conspicuous at night.
Yeah, you're stuck with all the delinquents instead.
Count me in, Hugo. I have full days that I might be spending relaxing, but I am happy to sacrifice some of my very busy schedule for you as needed.
So here's the other thing, though. I'm not going to call any of you in for help if you don't actually find some time to relax.
We can do both.
That's what we're doing right here. Thank you, Amity. This will last me for the next 3 months. Easy.
Are your adventurers traumatized? Do they crave danger and quests?
Whitaker, that's not a very healthy work-life balance.
Not healthy at all.
Whitaker, you do need a new hobby. We're getting you into video games.
If you don't find something for me to do, then I'm going to find something for me to do, and I can't promise everyone is going to like it.
If you're not careful, you're going to end up taking an accidental 2-year sabbatical.
Yes. Pulling a Rip Van Winkle.
I feel like this is the first time that Amity's been able to make a joke about it and everyone's like actually laugh, like not an awkward laugh. It's just like,
right.
We can joke about this now and it's really nice.
Yeah. Oh, group healing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it like one of those semi-stunned things where then everyone cracks up at it because it's like, oh my God, she made a joke about it. Oh my God.
Yeah, like, oh my gosh, she said it. And they're like, actually, that was really funny.
We now have permission to laugh.
Yeah.
Nature is healing.
Oh.
We're doing it.
All right. We have one hero left. Hugo. Downtime?
Downtime. Downtime with options, because I'm not sure who to have this downtime with. Current options are Professor Argyle, Heather Springer, his mom, which would make it complicated to deal with,
Yeah.
Kabe, or Aiden.
Ooh. You could let the dice decide, or you could let us know what you're thinking, and then we could help pick the appropriate person.
I'm tempted to go with Argyle just because they're currently in On Falls already. The timing is perfect that he can literally go directly from the picnic or step away from the picnic temporarily.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. All right. Yeah, you can leave Anya to picnic with the crew for a little bit. You've got a meeting that you've scheduled with Professor Argyle over at the museum. Gosh, it's been a minute since we've been back here.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you pull up on your bike, and he will be waiting in like a little side courtyard area with like a chess set laid out. It's like in the middle of a game. Seems like maybe he's playing himself or something. But, Hugo, good to see you. It's been too long.
It has been a while, hasn't it?
Well, you're busy. Doing good work down in that city of yours. What can I help you with? You seemed a bit troubled over the phone.
That's kind of what I need to ask you about. The concept of it being good work.
Oh.
He gestures for you to take a seat. Philosophy. Well, I'm your man.
Remind me, before I actually joined up with the Whispered, how often were you out in the field doing stuff?
I had slowed down quite a bit. It was mostly young Haru doing a lot of the leading of field work with the other members. But In my 20s and 30s, even on into my early 50s, I was active, for sure.
I'm noticing a bad trend with myself, and I need some clarity on how to sort it out. Back in your 20s, what were you fighting for?
The safety of those who could not ensure it for themselves. When faced with the unimaginable, the unexplainable, and in some cases, situations where someone needed to step in, where it would not have been easy to do so in the light. And as you know, we move gracefully through shadow.
This is true. I find myself wondering if it's too graceful sometimes.
How do you mean?
Ever since I got some of my memories back, and ever since I reconnected with Anya, I find myself angry a lot. Recently, we had a situation with a person in Seattle. I'll spare you the gory details, literally. We've dealt with people before. We've taken out people before. But something felt... It wasn't as clear-cut as normal. Get rid of a problem, that's easy enough. But it felt personal without being personal. I don't want to make the really, really bad comparison, but I'm trying my best to not become Anakin Skywalker, and I find that I think I'm failing somehow.
Oh no.
I hate sand. I'm fueled by rage at certain times. And I guess it's out of love, but even then it feels off, not justified. I don't really know the word for it.
You are charting very uneven waters in very tumultuous times. It is perhaps easier to get emotional for the right and wrong reasons. You say it felt personal, but not. Can you expound on that a bit more?
Every other thing we've done before, it's always been some detachment of this person needs to be dealt with, calculated, separated. I wanted him to feel the pain, which by all means I understand is not right, never has been right, never will be right, and yet I legitimately could not stop myself from what I was doing. It literally took looking into the face of an angel who was doing something far more terrifying to snap me out of it. And I guess I'm just trying to figure out how to balance that, and then also, should the case ever come up, how to stop myself, or at least how to get those around me to stop me if needed.
You will have to square with your own feelings about your actions. But as far as what to do about the future, your greatest ally in that case is your experience, your memories, your remembering how it feels now will help you temper that fire, help you make sure that the next time you feel compelled or that you must commit to something, you'll be doubly sure that it is what you are choosing and not a reaction. This life is complicated. It gets more complicated every day. No one will get it right every time, but to strive to move beyond those times that make us doubt and question, that is the forge of resolve, Hugo. That is what separates those capable of greatness and those who would be defined by their failing moments.
As he says that, Hugo looks down at the chessboard. Check.
He will smile, nod, tip the king over. He says, time to start a new game.
Time to start a new game. Oh, before I forget, Carla says that you're a coward for not having your hot sauce recently. You might want to work on that.
He says, a coward I might be, but a coward with a colon that is intact I will remain.
Fair, my guy. So fair.
And he's right.
Best of luck to you and the other young, brave souls that enter that kitchen.
It's worth it. Every time it's worth it, no matter the burn.
And I think, Hugo, you get a phone call. Sort of interrupts your time here with Professor Argyle from Miranda Rashad.
I gotta take this. Just a moment.
Of course.
Hey, Mom. What's up?
What's this I hear about you going to Seattle?
Just visiting some friends.
And in what world do I have to find this out from Rhea instead of you? You always tell me when you're traveling.
No! Yeah, generally I do. Hey, Mom, when was the last time I saw you?
We ran into each other briefly at that party at the Deep.
She made a deal with Fowler.
You rushed off before we could catch up. I'd still like a chance to properly get to know that girl you're seeing. She seems nice, but I like to confirm these things.
Holy shit.
At this, we can visibly see Hugo grit his teeth. Yeah. We'll have to plan a dinner date at some point soon. I gotta go, Mom.
All right. Well, call me. Keep me in touch.
Will do. Love you.
Love you too. Bye, honey.
Bye. And he's going to turn back to Professor Argyle, and his face is pale. Like he looks kind of sick almost.
Uh-huh. Do you need to sit down, Hugo? You look faint. I can get you some water.
I need to go. It was great catching up with you. Thank you again for the advice. Remember the thing about life getting more and more complicated?
He nods somberly, and he will grab your forearm before you zip away. And he says, Hugo, remember your own experience. Take my advice for what it is. Advice. You have to chart your own path.
He is going to nod and speed off back to the picnic.
Hugo appears in a flustery blast of snipe speed.
Guys, I think I messed up, or something's gone wrong. I'm not sure.
Join the club.
Yeah, I'll say. You got biscuit crumbs all over my nice relaxation shirt.
What happened?
Sorry, what's up?
I just got off the phone with my mom. Ani, you remember meeting her at the party, right?
Yes, briefly. But then we went out to dinner a few days later.
Yeah, apparently she doesn't remember meeting you yet.
Oh, I would have hoped to be more memorable to her.
Oh no.
You are always memorable. She also was wondering why I was up in Seattle, when she's the reason why I went to Seattle.
Is your mom okay?
I don't know. She sounded okay on the phone. A little tired and worried, but...
Hugo, is this a Kabe memory situation or a shapeshifter situation? Whitaker's getting his jacket on.
I don't know, but I'm currently at the point in my life where I'm realizing I shouldn't try to figure this stuff out on my own.
Mira walks up to you, Hugo, and she's in her little courier outfit.
Oh my god, bless her.
And she will tap you on the shoulder and tip her little cap. And she says, I think I might be able to shed some light on this. Hugo Rashad?
Yeah.
You're being served.
What?
And she reaches into her little parcel bag and hands you a little golden ticket.
Are you going to the chocolate factory?
Served by who and for what?
Do you take the ticket?
Yeah, he's going to take the ticket.
The ticket bursts into golden dust, which swirls around the hand you accepted it with, Hugo, and not replacing, but sort of overlaid on the tattoos on that wrist, an hourglass appears and starts to drain from the top into the bottom.
Oh.
Okay.
What is that?
Fancy. And I don't know. And I don't like it. Why is this on me?
Mira, what's going on?
Anya also looks pale, and she says, Hugo, you have to answer the summons.
Summons from who?
From the court.
Oh shit.
Oh no. No.
Mira blinks like she's suddenly waking up, and she glances at her courier outfit and says, did someone order a parcel? What am I doing? She snaps a finger and her outfit returns to her picnic summer dress. Sorry, something came over me just now. Woo, felt very expensive. What's happening?
The consequences of my actions, apparently. I don't even know what actions, but the consequences.
Anya, she will take your hand and look at the hourglass, and she says, looks like you have a day or so. I will see you there. Please don't go alone. And she will lean up and give you a little kiss on the cheek. And then she turns around and a rift into the havens appears. And she steps into it, and her modern attire becomes this long, green, verdant dress of ferns and grasses. Her hair, which was just sort of tied up, bursts forth into her red, curly auburn waves, and her royal circlet reveals itself on her head. And she looks back over her shoulder and says, "If this is what I think it is, you and I are being called to answer for us. I'll do what I can here. Shade of my heart, whatever you do to get ready, don't be late." And the portal to the Havens closes. Hello, adventurers. Thank you for listening to another episode with us. I hope this one has been a nice reprieve from the high action of the last couple episodes. See, I haven't forgotten about our slice of life quotas. Let's get through our announcements, and I'll send you back to the story soon. Our promo swap this week is with Tales of Yavard. If you've been curious about Mythcraft RPG, check out their series, which uses this new D20 fantasy system. Let's listen to their promo.
A small ship rides the salt-laden wind across the sea.
The sound of waves striking the side of the vessel echo from below.
This ship, though small, carries with it the potential to change the world as we know it.
If the crew can overcome their demons, that is.
Tales of Yavard is an actual play podcast using the brand new Mythcraft system developed by Quasi-Real Publishing.
The first campaign, The Sea's Tale, follows our heroes struggling against pirates, mercenaries, and crime families as they seek to discover the truth of a terrible attack.
The secrets they may uncover on this journey will bring them closer to that truth, but the cost may be greater than any of them know.
Listen wherever you get your podcasts and find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok under Tales of Yavard Pod.
Social media. Things are unsurprisingly more of a mess in that arena than ever. We've basically abandoned Twitter and migrated with a lot of other TTRPG folks to Blue Sky. We understand keeping up with the shifting landscape of these platforms can be annoying, but to keep things easy for you, on whatever platform you prefer, you can find us there at Story Squad Cast. And we cross-post all our important announcements, so you can stay up to date about our upcoming events and collaborations. Speaking of, the Storyteller Squad will be at PAX Unplugged next week at time of release. And yes, all of us will be there. It's arrived quickly, but we are super excited to be vending again and completing the triad of US PAX events to close out the year. If you're going to be in Philadelphia for the event, be sure to visit us at booth 4153 in the Expo Hall, or check out our networking panel, Charisma Check, and hear from myself and some of our industry friends as we share tips and tricks for making and maintaining professional connections. PAX Unplugged is a special con, as it's one we can usually get all of us together for, and it's a bright spot of creative motivation as we all battle our way through New England winter. Tickets are still on sale, so we hope to see you there. As we get into the holiday season, you're likely to see friends and family you normally don't. Now is a great time to spread the word about us. Word of mouth recommendations are still the best way to help this podcast grow, and with all the holiday travel ahead, give your loved ones the gift of something fun to listen to. Links to our season recaps and onboarding episodes have a whole page on our website. Check out thestorytellersquad.com/where to start. There should be a couple more episodes releasing in December, but if we need to delay because of holiday plans or something else, we're most likely to post about that in our community Discord. We've seen a bunch of you joining recently. It's been very cool to see that corner of our community growing. While we didn't do a listening party for this episode because of holiday scheduling, normally we host a listening stream when new episodes drop. And it is tons of fun getting to see your reactions in real time. And finally, thank you to our patrons. There is a lot we are aiming to do next year with TSS, and your continued support really makes a difference. I've been working as producer and creative director full-time for a little while now, which can feel pretty scary at times, especially given the way the world has been treating artists lately. But your pledges really do add up, the more of you there are. And with your help, there are so many things we are working on that I'm excited to share with you. So for now, I'll leave you all with this. Exciting things are on the horizon, adventurers. Stay tuned, and we'll see you next time.
Oh, shit. You just got served by Sovnwield.
Great.
What the fuck?
Great. This is great. So did I ever tell you about the fact that people are not happy about our relationship?
You know, it didn't really come up other than the hundreds of folk protesting outside the community center every day.
Gotten some vibes.
Not just at that level. Higher up.
That bad?
In-laws that aren't in-laws yet?
Yikes. Oh, that's like that K-drama trope.
Natalie, would Whitaker's extensive knowledge of the Fey royal family help him out in any way in this situation?
I love when this comes up. I mean, you know that the royal court consists of the king, the queen, and the two princesses. And then there are many, like, minor lords and ladies of the courts and things. But, like, that's as high as you get is the royal family, and Anya's part of it. So I'm not sure what else I could answer without getting, like, a really specific question, you know?
Yeah, I was going to say, if you had any other insights for the situation, but yeah.
Amity, did you have something?
To reorganize it, Amity just goes, oh boy, okay, you got served by Sovnwield. Well, if you need to go, Mira and I can take you. Or I can take you. She kind of looks cautiously at Mira. Doesn't want to speak for her, doesn't want to tell her what to do. She already took her away from Granny Jones for 2 whole freaking years, like...
Oh God, is that what just happened? Oh, I'm so sorry, Hugo. Oh.
Do you really not remember anything?
I was talking to Beatrice, and we were going to make a pie later, and then... yeah.
Oh boy, okay.
Sorry. Oh gosh. Yeah, no, favor must have come due. I'm so... oof.
Question, Mira?
Hmm.
Have you ever seen someone get served by Sovnwield before? And if so, how'd that go?
Well, you can't miss your court date. I mean, that's bad. So, yeah, it looks like you're going to have to go on another trip.
Do they just expect you to get there yourself and hope you're on time?
I don't know.
Generally so. If the courts are upset with you enough to serve you, I mean, they...
Oh boy, okay. Yeah, Amity, I'm gonna need some help there, and, I don't want to call this favor in so quickly. Whitaker, what do you know about being legal counsel?
Not much, but I know the gossip. Whitaker cracks his knuckles. And that's the next best thing.
And we have about 1 day to learn?
Okay, does anyone else want to go on a trip?
I am happy to support you emotionally in this trying time, but I don't think my skill set is going to be useful here.
Damien, if you think I'm letting you stay at the flat unsupervised for a Fey disoriented amount of time away, you are kidding yourself. Get your bags packed. We're going on a vacation?
I'm gonna call my mom really quick.
Oh.
I'll let her know what's going on.
Raven, Aiden, you in?
Whatever you need.
I'm not suspended.
Oh.
And I assume you guys don't have extensive PTO chances, do you?
Not that I don't want to come, Hugo, but I already got everyone in trouble. I can't risk making it worse.
I appreciate it regardless. Just do me a favor. While we're gone, don't work yourself too hard.
I don't know if that'll be up to me, but at least y'all won't be bored now.
I don't know. It didn't strike me as a tennis court or a basketball court, so I expect it's going to be pretty boring.
I need a Sobe.
What would you guys like to do in preparation for your trip to the Havens?
Study montage. Hitting the books and learning cool facts.
All right, so the things we do have to make sure we have. Fey legal knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
That should be acquirable in 12 hours.
You didn't even know what he's being charged with yet.
No clue.
I know.
I know. Cast a wide net.
Mm-hmm.
You'd think that would be included on the summons, but no.
No.
Keeping you guessing.
Yeah, how do we get more information on what this summons, and specifically for Hugo, is about?
That's task number 2.
And how do we simultaneously brain scan the mom.
Task number 3? All right, who wants to be in charge of what? Legal stuff. What is Hugo being tried for? Magical time wibbly wobbly stuff. Let's not get trapped for 2 years.
And figure out something with Hugo's mom.
Yes, because that was not answered by this.
Yeah.
Anything else? Go beat up Fowler for fun. That's my job.
Woo!
Oh, shit. I wanted dibs on that one.
Amity's gonna work on the time shit for sure. I am gonna hand wave that Amity has a sit-down conversation with her mom because they decided to take a few hours to prepare rather than her calling her mom and just running off to the Havens.
Yeah.
Feels like an in-person thing.
Mhm.
But it's like, I have to go back. I promise I'm gonna do everything I can to not get distracted for 2 years and come back super late. Hopefully it's only a couple of days. Okay, love you, bye. That's the general gist of the conversation.
Yeah,
Okay?
I mean, it's a tougher conversation than that for sure.
It's a
but
much tougher conversation.
Yeah, I think she understands, like, you have a friend in trouble and
Yeah.
you want to go help him and you have expertise in this scenario, you know? Like, you are one of the most well-equipped friends he has in this moment.
Yeah. 100%. That's how she explains it.
We're going as a group and we're trying to find a solution for the time thing before we go to get ahead of it.
Yeah. I think she specifically mentions looking for a time solution before going because, oh boy, I don't want to hog up all the helpful spotlight, but could she call one of her Havens homies to be like, hey, how does Fae legal shit work?
We just have a conference call with one of your friends and all of us listening and taking notes.
Yeah, just a conference call with all of her teachers like, hey, so my friend has been summoned by the court of Savenweald for what crime we don't know, but they want to, it sounds like, put him on trial. And none of us understand the legal process of Savenweald. Help? Help, please.
Okay. Specifically, we should break this down.
Sure.
Because you're going to have to tell me specifically who you reach out to about that.
I mean, I
And-
could do group chat sending again.
Wait, I know you want to do this, but Raven, what if your brother's boyfriend got on the phone?
Yes, please, let's contact Jay instead.
Yeah.
Please, let's talk to Jay instead. That's such a better idea.
So Amity's doing time magic.
Yeah.
Raven's going to reach out to Lark and Jay.
Yep.
Is Whitaker helping Hugo look into whether his mom is okay?
That feels fine to me.
Okay.
I was going to break some kneecaps, but yeah, I could help.
We'll keep you around for when we do confirm that this is some Fowler bullshit.
Yeah, Damien will head with Whitaker just in case, so Whitaker doesn't get ahead of him in that department.
We'll get to that.
Okay. Sure.
Not to jump ahead, but I imagine Jay's explanation of the Savenweald court system is probably not incredible listening material. So we could do that first.
Why don't you call them?
Oh boy. I don't like when you say stuff like that. All right, Raven's going to call her brother. And she's got a big notepad and a pen in case she has to take a bunch of notes.
I'm also going to get a notepad and a pen.
You call Lark. Hey, how's it going, baby sis?
Hey, question for you. A friend of mine, you remember Hugo, right?
Mm-hmm.
He just got summoned by the court of Savenweald. A little golden ticket. Now he's got an hourglass on his wrist. We're not really sure what for. Do you think Jay might have any advice on how to proceed? We've got about a day or so until he has to go, and we're just trying to prepare as much as possible before we walk into this. Also, hi, how are you? Sorry, this is just kind of a big thing that just happened, so.
No, I get it. No, it's okay.
We'll catch up later.
Listen, there's no judgment here. Magic problems are magic problems.
You're the best. I'm so glad you understand.
Yeah, I get it. You know, I wish I had a good answer for you, but Jay actually just left.
Oh.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, he got a job as a judge. Funny thing that.
I swear to God.
He said there was some business in the Havens and he had to go check it out. So this.
Oh, that's.
Oh, man, this might be big.
I can't imagine they handle a bunch of court stuff all at once and maybe they called him in for something. No, he's definitely going for Hugo. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
This is bad, isn't it?
It might be. How much time is in that hourglass?
Anya said about a day.
Okay. Maybe, err on the side of caution?
Oh yeah, no, we're not taking chances on that, but we just want to try and prepare as much as we can before we go.
Yeah, I get that. I'll scour some books and I'll talk with Saoirse and see maybe we can figure something out. I'll text you.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
All right. Best of luck.
Thanks. Talk soon.
Love you. Bye.
If there's anybody around when Raven gets off the phone.
Aiden is just standing there, hands on her head, like, that didn't sound good.
No, Jay just got called to Sovnwield for important business stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not a great sign. Lark is gonna talk to Saoirse and they're gonna see if they can find anything. He'll get back to me if they find anything useful. So I guess we should also hit the books. There's gotta be something. Honestly, I just want like a list of the things of like absolutely do not do this, or it's like really rude, you know? I just want to have the basics covered so we don't embarrass ourselves so terribly when we go.
We should interview Mira.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, let's do that.
You guys can go. Talk to Mira about stuff. Let's cut over to Amity.
Would Amity know if Granny Jones had ever been to the Havens?
Granny Jones has been to the Havens in like the way that Amity has been to the Havens prior to the long extended time where like Mira had taken her there a couple times just to like hang for a little bit, but like not like long extended amounts of time, you know?
Ah, okay. I guess this would be like a turn to your magical teachers to figure out how to make time not be so funky. She'll probably ask Nana Margie, because Nana Margie probably has the closest ties to the human world and the folk world at the same time. So she does her little sending thing. Hi, Nana Margie. I have kind of an urgent question. I have to go back to the Havens, but I need a way to avoid losing track of time. Can you help me with that? Do you know a good spell for that? Or a charm? Something? Help, please. My friend has to go to court. Okay, thanks. I hope you're well.
Where is this happening, by the way? Are we still at the park with the picnic?
I think we've scattered, because Amity went to go talk to her mom and debrief her on everything first. So I think this happened in her backyard by the grandma tree.
Sure, okay. In your backyard, a large pelican clumsily crashes through the branches of the grandma tree and then like flops onto the ground and sort of like picks itself up and waddles over to you and opens its big pelican mouth. And out of it, you hear an echoey Nana Margie say, "Hey kid, I'm actually in the Havens right now. Y'all should come by. Maybe not before your court date, but like, I'm sure we can help figure something out. As far as time magic, yeah, that's a real pickle. Your guess is as good as mine. I make sure I have nothing on the calendar for at least a couple weeks."
Great! Great. Okay.
And then she continues, she says, "Actually, you want to talk about dealing with the courts and skirting around the periphery? I mean, you know the guy as well as I do."
Oh, shit. Amity just goes, "Oh, of course. Yep, that's a good idea. Thank you." And she's going to run off to try to round up the group.
As you leave, the pelican kind of like waddles after you. I hear Nana Margie say like, "I'll meet you there. All right, we'll get the gang together. We'll figure something out."
Okay, thank you so much, Nana Margie. You're the best. Bye!
Hey, we'll get your guy off the hook. It's not a big deal. All right, see you later.
And Amity is like running, and then she hops on her staff broom and she's flying, and she's texting while flying. Don't do this at home, kids. And she just writes to the group in all caps, "We gotta talk to Merlin."
To be clear, and to like remind Amity of knowledge that they would know, but you wouldn't because it happened in your backstory.
Yeah.
Merlin is technically an exile of the court. That means that they've gotten very good at doing things under the radar.
Right. But point is, dude knows the rules and how to bend them.
Yeah, you should probably talk to Merlin. So, we'll jump to Whitaker, Damien, and Hugo. What are y'all up to?
I don't want to say it's as simple as, but I think it's as simple as grabbing a quick like meal back in Portland with his mom, and then they just quickly discuss what has happened and the fact that they have to go.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know how much additional investigation we need.
Well, you want to know what was going on with her not remembering, right?
Yeah.
Why don't you investigate?
Ask Kabe some questions about memory.
I will help out if you need it.
I can stand here and look pretty if you need it.
You can do that regardless.
Thank you.
Oh, it's a 5.
I have help out as advanced. I have it as advanced. I just gotta roll really high.
I believe in you.
I get a +3 because I'm very cool.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in you.
Oh, not cool enough.
Fuck. It's a 7.
Damn.
Oh, no.
It's still a fail. Sorry, bud. Not much we can do about that. I'm not wasting my last luck on this. Sorry. Rip to your mom, but I'm saving this.
Rip to your mother.
If you want to burn a luck, you can just burn a luck. Then we don't need Whitaker's help.
Yeah, decide if your mom matters or not.
Oh, it's the man's mom.
It's his mom.
He would burn all of his luck for that.
Good man.
We're going to burn a luck.
All right. You have dinner with your mom. The conversation specifics are not all that important, unless you want that to be the important thing. But I think you would be able to figure out what went on just by observing her. And it helps that you have some tattoos, which grant you a sight beyond sight. As you are speaking, you see a faint and still fading impression of very strong folk runes. The very tiny ones that wrap a person when they have entered into a deal. And these runes, which are, again, fading, but clearly were there very strongly, are a deep, dark emerald green.
Thought as much.
What you observe is the aftermath of your not having interrupted her conversations with Fowler at the casino, especially following your revelation to him that you were the one causing him a bunch of trouble. He set into motion quite a bit of events, including getting your mom to send you up to Seattle.
Yeah, you know that moment where I regret having not spent a luck point?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well.
You get this feeling that it was your mom who went to dinner with you, but she does not remember doing it because she was compelled at the time.
Makes sense. Surely it's not a bad thing that Hugo has even more frustration towards Fowler right now. Surely not. That's not going to be a problem at all.
I realize we didn't ask a question on that roll, but you used a luck point. I'm just going to tell you what you need to know. Whitaker, Damien.
Here's my next question. Now that we know that Fowler was involved, what did Fowler get up to while Hugo was sent away to Seattle? Because we know King O got up to some shit. I don't remember Fowler being on the list of people who made out well while we were away.
True. Would you like to investigate?
I would love to. 9, if anyone wants to help me out.
Damien, you were helping.
Yeah.
Yeah, Damien, you know all about making shitty deals.
Damn.
9.
That'll bring me to a full success, and you will just be exposed to danger.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Danger's my middle name.
Yeah, we'll get to some Damien danger in a second. But Whitaker, you can ask your questions now.
What happened here? What's being concealed here? We'll combine those two. What did Fowler get up to while we were away?
Ooh, can I tie things together in a neat little bow?
Why not?
We love a neat little bow.
We love a little bow. It's very demure, very mindful.
I was about to fucking
mindful. Love you. Okay, so I want to
Make that nice little bow. Do it.
to clarify, Whitaker and the team are still unaware of the coup which occurred.
Cool.
There was a coup?
Exactly.
Exactly.
Okay.
Everyone is still unaware of that happening.
Noted.
But Whitaker is a shrewd detective, so I think what you are able to piece together, Fowler obviously has reason to dislike Hugo. The other group that has reason to dislike Hugo were the folk that your team came into conflict with in Seattle. Also, you know that the Leshy were something tied to Fowler originally, or that, that he has some connection to them. And that the Leshy were also the group that made off with the crystals from Seattle and had been part of that racket. You know that Fowler is ostensibly working with King O, and that if it was Meridian's crystal trade up in Seattle, perhaps Fowler's Leshy were up there as double agents, acting on behalf of the Meridian, but actually seeking to grasp the crystals to bring to Fowler, who could give them to King O. And you know that him sending Hugo up there to a very dangerous situation and perhaps contracting Falden and his group, which is something you would have talked about, right, and debriefed with Hugo about, that those folk were sort of duped into protecting the Leshy on the promise that they would interact with Hugo up there and that he would have a connection to what was going on.
Okay, so specifically, the folk did not have any, their only motivation for being up there was, or motivation, the deal they made was just to fuck around with Hugo.
The service they offered to provide was the physical protection.
Yes.
But through Hugo's interactions with Falden, it was clear that Falden was there expecting Hugo to be there. And if Fowler compelled Hugo's mom to tell her to send Hugo up to Seattle, then Fowler basically got free protection for his Leshy and the crystals, which he then stole once you guys disrupted Meridian's project up there.
Oh.
And used the folks' already existing animosity with Hugo to get them to go do that for him. No skin off his nose, no effort other than a quick conversation with a couple people at a party, and he gets to bring home the big prize of all the stones.
Yeah. It is several layers of, we are going to make sure that this trade gets disruptive, which will help us, and we're also going to add this extra layer of not disrupted too much, because we want those things.
We want it produced in the first place and distributed, yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does. It does make sense.
Yeah. Fowler is playing, or was playing, a lot of angles with that whole situation.
Yeah.
I think that's all.
That ties it all together quite nicely, I think.
Yeah, okay.
No, I think you should probably give us more clues.
I don't know how much more there is to give without spoiling moments I have coming up, so.
And that works because, right, Whittaker already had the knowledge about, this was Meridian's deal, so that all slots together quite well.
Exactly.
Yeah. Makes him even more fucking angry at Olivia for sending him there.
It seems to you at this moment that, Fowler was able to capitalize on a thing going on in a different city in a way that maybe Kingo could not.
Yeah.
Being barred from Seattle, being barred from the harbor, and having Fowler act as an agent in his stead, basically, who then also delegated. There's a lot of delegation happening. Criminal networks.
Yeah. Is it clear at this point how, this will be my last question, is it clear at this point how on the same level Fowler and King O are? Fowler's got the crystals. Are those also King's crystals now? Or is those Fowler's and he's gonna keep
I don't think you would know, but it corroborates the idea that Fowler might be more in line with King O and working with him, more so than Fowler working with Meridian, which was a theory you guys had posited when you were up in Seattle and being well, if Fowler's up here and this is Meridian's deal, are they together? And it's clearly no.
Yeah.
Because the Leshy were the ones that made off with the prize and didn't bother to come in and protect Stone or the lab or anything like that, So it was a very cut and run kind of situation. So it seems clear that at least what is definitive is that Fowler was not assisting Meridian.
Yeah. At minimum, he was capitalizing off of the strike we were doing, and knowing that Olivia is also at least somewhat in King O's pocket does make that seem coordinated.
And also, him sending Hugo up there and also sending the people that hate Hugo up there to protect the thing that he knows Hugo's going to go and try and stop is a way to get two birds with one stone of this kid is fucking with my shit here in Portland. If I send him to Seattle and he's injured, killed, incapacitated, whatever, by these people who I have sicked on him, basically, then great.
Yeah.
It seems very clear that Hugo's involvement in Seattle was very much orchestrated by Fowler in an attempt to fuck you over and pay you back for messing with his operation.
Seems fair to me.
Sorry, bud.
Damien, you come along to help Whittaker and Hugo puzzle out this tangled web of criminal plots. And it's a long day. It feels especially long given that it was supposed to be a guiltless day off to relax. But you wrap up and head home. Anything you want to talk to Prithee or Whittaker about when you get back to the apartment? Any trepidation about the upcoming trip or something like that?
I think Damien's probably a little bit more avoidative of the two, willing to help out 100% when called upon, but
sticking kind of to yourself. Okay. We see you getting ready for bed. maybe earlier than would be typical for you. But as you finish brushing your teeth and leave the bathroom, our camera lingers on the sink drain, where we see a tiny tendril of green slime tentatively emerge and creep towards the edge of the sink, but then quickly retreats back out of sight when Whitaker walks in to shut off the light. Raven. It is the night before you're supposed to leave for the Havens to help Hugo. But it's late, or early, maybe 3 or 4 a.m. You get disturbed from sleep by some noise out in the kitchen, and you can hear Aiden talking on the phone.
Can I get a sense of Aiden's side of the conversation?
She is saying, "Yes, I understand. No, I understand. All right. Yes, Logme is going. Soon." And she hangs up and heads back into the bedroom. She's walking quietly to try and not disturb you, and she's typing or reading something on her phone. You can see, lit by the screen, she has a resigned, tense expression on her face. It's how she often looks when you and the team are about to go into a dangerous mission. Would you be sitting up or laying down at this point, or?
I think she's sitting up.
Okay. She sees you're awake and sits down on the edge of the bed near you. Sorry I woke you up.
It's okay. What's going on?
I have to go to Boston.
Why?
There's some kind of incursion happening. I guess there's this aura affecting a big section of the city and causing a blackout.
Oh, shit.
Threat response is worried it might be pretty bad, so they're sending me in to back up the local team.
Oh my god. Okay. I'm guessing you have to go right away?
Yeah, I have to suit up and head out. I'll teleport as close as I can and then fly the rest of the way.
Raven's gonna rub at her eyes. She's so tired. Boston. When was the last time you were on the East Coast?
2 years ago.
Right?
She takes your hand. I wish I could be there to see you off.
I know. We'll be fine. And so will you.
Aiden makes a half-hearted fist and taps it over her chest. One of us is indestructible.
You better be. The world's not going to stop just because the rest of Rogue Team is suspended.
It already feels like it's speeding up just to mess with me.
Well, if anyone at the agency could pull off this solo act, it's you.
Even if that is true, I hope you get back soon. It'd be nice to come home to someone waiting here.
I don't think phones work in the Havens, but Amity does have a lot of very cool magical friends, so I'll try to keep in touch if I can.
Aiden puts her hand on the back of your head and presses your foreheads together. She says in her very serious girlfriend voice, "If you are in there for longer than a couple months, I'm coming after you, Raven Eugenia."
You better, Agent Brightwood.
I love you.
I love you too. Go kick some ass.
She will give you a kiss, squeeze your hand one more time, and get up to go.
I don't think Raven's going back to bed at this point. Like, she's up. She might start packing a little bag to go, but she's up after that. It's like, I'm up. Let's just do this.
Aiden leaves the bedroom. She gives Ruby some squitches and tugs on her jacket over her tactical uniform. Windy perks up in the living room when they see her prepping to leave in her agency attire. Aiden just gestures back at your room. "Keep her safe in the Havens. I'm counting on you." And they give a little salute with their raccoon paw. Aiden gives them a hug and a little fist bump as she heads to the door.
Raven will come out of the bedroom and let Windy climb on her shoulder. We got this. I promise.
Aiden pauses in the doorway and looks back at you and Windy and Ruby. "You know, I am the rescue agent. This might not even be a fight I'm heading to."
If it wasn't, they could have called someone else. Go get him.
Aiden smiles and starts to glow. She takes a couple steps outside as her wings appear and puts a hand to her earpiece. "This is Agent Brightwood. I'm on my way." Hello, adventurers. our beloved Angel is off to take on some solo adventures. And if you'd like to see what she gets up to while her friends are away in the Havens, be sure to check out The Storyteller Squad Expanded Universe, Series 3, coming soon at the start of the new year. See you then. That morning, you all can gather back in Autumn Falls. Let's go, Amity.
Yeah, okay. The question is, Merlin's first or Savinweald first?
I think you guys have to get to Savinweald. The hourglass is ticking down and looking low.
The timer will run out soon. Okay. Amity looks a little antsy. She's never had to teleport this many people before, but this is gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine.
I should clarify, this is not quite teleporting, Amity. Do you remember how to get to Savinweald from the human realm?
Yes. It's a little different.
Yeah.
It's a weird kind of teleporting. But she's gonna line everybody up just in whatever order. And she's gonna be like, okay, it's really easy to get lost. I swear I need you guys to like hold hands the entire time until I say we're done, okay? Like, I'm not even joking. It's going to be very confusing and maybe a little disorienting. And she looks a little warily at Hugo, knowing his track record with teleportation.
Yep.
So once everyone joins hands, she's gonna take a second and look around. There are red and gold and brown leaves scattering about. I think they met back up at the park where they had the picnic.
Sure.
Just seemed like a good spot. But she kind of concentrates for a second. And there's this one pile of leaves that swirls around just so. You ever see those spiraling of leaves that they just look kind of magical?
Mm-hmm.
There's something about them that's very ephemeral. And it's in one of these little twister flurries of leaves. It happens to come right by her. It's like it knows. And she reaches out and grabs a leaf that happens to be just right in the middle. And she pulls it out of the vortex and then sort of pulls it down like a zipper, and this big gate opens up. I'm going to say her staff is shrunken down. It's twisted up in her hair so she doesn't lose it. She reaches back, grabs whoever is first in line's hand very tightly and goes, seriously, guys, don't let go. And she's going to lead everyone into the Havens. And it's a process. This happens a couple of times. We enter this first haven, this first pocket of the folk world. And as they hop through, she leads them into this first haven, looks around again really quick, eyes lock onto a mushroom. And as she reaches down for the cap, she twists it like a doorknob, and a door opens and they fall through it. And then,
Natalie, what does that look for?
I'm so proud of you. Please keep going. This is so good.
Now do 5 more.
I'm only doing one more. It's a 3-step process. We're not going that crazy. And then they come across a riverbank, and there's a circle of lily pads that she leads them to. And she goes, okay, 3, 2, 1, jump! And they all jump through the ring of lily pads that are just perfectly arranged just so. And you would think they would be higher up, but they're like maybe 2-3 feet off the ground, and they all drop into the middle of a field. And as she stands up, she lets go of their hands, dusts herself off, and looks around with like a little bit of relief.
Whew. Yep, that's Savinweald.
Stretching out before you are the fields surrounding the large haven that houses the royal palace and the small folk village that grows up around it. And literally grows up around it. The buildings here are all made of song-sung trees that grow in the shape that their sculptors desire to form living abodes and places of communal gathering and feasting and business and animal husbandry, but all naturally sort of woven into the landscape here versus constructed. Your group is here in the Havens. For those of you for whom this is your first time, it feels lovely. You feel just generally happy and like physically really rested and like energized. It's almost as though you hear music somewhere in the background. It's not there, but it is. It's hard to say. It sort of just whispers in the back of your mind and not your ears, but you know you have to get to the castle, and we will sort of fast montage the group of you traveling this field, then you make it into the town, you get directions. Maybe you run into some small town guard to be like, we have to go to court, and they're like, oh well, head that way, tell them at the gate, etc., And you travel through, you see the bustling town of folk, little folk children running around casting spells at each other playfully, and one kid is like running around being like, I'm the leader, and someone behind them like points a finger and suddenly they become a frog and they're like hopping along, and everyone's like, frog king, laughing around, playing. And they quickly polymorph themselves back, and it's all magic here. And you get to the gates of the castle, and when you reveal the hourglass mark, the guard here are not so much like aggressive, but they see that and they stand at attention and they say, very well, come with us. And the gates are opened up, and you follow this contingent who sort of surround and escort your group through the halls of the palace with its large open windows and vistas that open up into, you gather, potentially other havens. Like there are magical portals crafted here to allow quick jumps versus the otherwise slightly convoluted method of travel through the different havens and the regions of the world. In fact, you pass through one room where it's very clearly like a hub of transport, and there's people just traveling in and out, carrying stacks of books or making them levitate behind them as they confer with other magical spirits and creatures. And through all this sort of go, it's like traveling through an airport, the most magical airport or subway station you can imagine. You travel to the folk courts. Unlike the stoic brown pews and beige wallpaper of mundane courts, the folk court is a spectacle of color, light, and sensory experience. It is set within one of the branching towers of the palace, and what serves as the court itself is an open pavilion, which is held aloft by branches of trees that are grown to form the foundations and framework of the palace. Floating around the edge of this dais are enchanted shards of colorful glass, similar to stained glass windows, but lacking any of the constraint and defined aspects of their mundane counterparts. And these shards just rearrange themselves constantly into new configurations, figurative and abstract. There are several folk gathered here already, standing or seated in groups, in a very haphazard arrangement. There's seemingly no defined boundaries beyond like cliques or representatives from various orders within the folk, denoted by colorful sashes or fanciful hats, that kind of thing. There are magical birds and other spirits that flit from the tree branches here, and small motes of light that just move and drift aimlessly through the area. And at the farthest extension of this wide platform, defiant in the face of physics and mundane structural engineering, there is an ancient-looking tree, which grows and ascends to be 40 feet or so high, with its long root structures wrapping the edge of this platform to create a railing. The leaves of this tree all bear like a metallic luster, so rather than green or autumnal colors, they are like a blend of coppers, silvers, golds, brass, and other reflective coloration. There is a long and thin roofed bridge that connects to this dais from the tower you all were in previously. And we see, approaching from this adjoining tower, your group arriving on the court and flanked by the royal guard in gleaming armor. And there is someone there to announce. And they say, now arriving, Hugo Rashad and retinue. And a hush falls over the crowd. And you hear, you may approach. And you see ahead in this massive throne tree, the vernal king Nuada and the autumnal queen Maeve seated in different sections of this tree. And everywhere they sit, the tree takes on different seasonal affectations. We see King Nuada, who is a tall figure, which is clear even though he's seated on the boughs of this like massive tree. And where he sits in the highest boughs, there are bright blossoms that also adorn this tree, and the petals are constantly seeming to shower him. He is dark-skinned, laced with veins and flecks of crystal that catch the sun when he moves, and his right arm seems to be made entirely of like an organic silver material that shines with a near mirror finish. He is dressed in very flowing garments, which are modest, but could easily be abandoned if the day were to grow warm. His hair is braided and adorned with several silver-wrought bands and gems, and his gaze is unfocused and often wanders as though a million fleeting things demanded his attention at once. And every now and then he smiles or frowns, shifting between elation and somber reverie. The figure who called you forward, Queen Maeve, her height is impossible to determine because of the size and train of her dress, and seems irrelevant given the presence she commands in this space. Her bright golden hair cascades over a mantle of frost-kissed leaves, and stark bare branches form a jagged collar that frames her very stern and serious face. She would have a sweet complexion, if not for the cold intensity of her gray eyes, but you do see flecks of bronze and copper metallic freckles similar to Anya's on her face. Her dress is like diaphanous layers of warm-toned foliage, and then that transitions into earthen browns for the skirt. Where she is perched, the leaves of the tree fall, and yet the branch is never completely without foliage. You are marched forward to stand in front of this tree, and the queen raises a hand and she says, "The courts recognize your arrival on time to this summons, Hugo Rashad." She then glances in the direction of the crowd and she says, "Prosecution, read him the charges." We see the crowd part a little bit, and standing flanked by Falden and Sira is the familiar face of Jay.
Oh, he's the prosecution!
Prosecution! No!
In his elven form, stepping forward, his draconic eyes avoiding your gaze. He does quickly make eye contact with Raven and mouth a very quick, "Sorry."
Oh.
But steps forward, and as he does, glows golden and becomes his draconic true self and sort of stalks in front of the throne, looking at Hugo. Says, "You stand accused of many things, Hugo Rashad. Infiltrating and undermining the will of the royal court of Savanweald toward aims unknown.
Jesus.
Conspiring to re-establish the witch hunter's former complement of magical warriors with intent to intimidate and target the folk. Suspected of plotting and warmongering, conducting heinous and abominable research in the pursuit of dark and wicked magics. And finally," and Jay kind of glances up to the throne, and Queen Maeve nods, "and perhaps most egregious of all, grand larceny. You stand accused of bewitching and stealing the heart of the Princess Anya."
This is some bullshit.
And Jay sort of then moves away from standing in front of the throne. All eyes are on you, Hugo.
That is a list. I find the charges to be inaccurate on many counts.
Queen Maeve leans forward, resting her chin in her hand, and she says, "Be that as it may, will you be representing yourself in these proceedings, Mr. Rashad?" And we hear doors at the back gate of this dais swing open. There's a fluttering of the magical birds in the space, and many eyes shift back. And we see a figure in a dark suit, with long, lanky limbs, carrying a briefcase, slowly march towards the front and the throne.
No.
As Dr. Aranya Kabe, attorney at law, steps forward.
No! Got my lawyer, let's go.
Places a briefcase down next to Hugo and says to all those gathered, "He most certainly will not."
Oh, bitch.
And that's where we'll end our session.
We actually have a chance now. Oh my god.
Dr. Aranya Kabe, Esquire? Well, dang, okay.
We were so screwed before.
Look at my lawyer, dog. I'm going to jail.
Yo.
I've been sitting here like Natalie never told us how the court system works. We have no idea.
No clue.
I straight up, before Natalie made that entrance, I was like, am I going to have to volunteer Amity to be Hugo's lawyer?
I thought you were going to jump in, honestly.
I was prepared to. I was ready. But thanks for showing up, Kabe. Damn.
All right. Well, we will pursue the rest of Arc 4, the Fey Courts arc, when we return next episode, adventurers.
Oh, man.
Yeah, the fake courts.
Got him.
We return to the mundane world. Tell us where we are, Valentine.
It's the same morning that our hunters left. We cut to South Hawthorne Waterfront Park. It's pretty quiet and empty because it's the morning and it's, cold. It's autumn. We see Valentine sitting on a park bench that faces the water, wearing a bulky, oversized leather jacket. She has a hood pulled up over her head. Camera kind of shifts from this behind view to close-up of the park bench, and we hear a faint electric whirring and scraping of stone as we pan across to see a human hand holding a palm-sized stone, while a metallic artifice hand presses the tip of the middle finger into that stone, seeming to be carving something into the rock. And once we fully pan over, we see two more similar-sized stones on the bench next to her. After a few moments of carving, Ariel takes a second to adjust a baseball cap that is affixed on her head. She's even wearing a very familiar blonde wig tied in a loose braid. And as she adjusts her cap, she brings the stone up to her face and gently blows away the debris. And when she pulls the stone away to check her handiwork, we see a series of letters and numbers etched into its face. C013. And when she lets her hand settle into her lap, there are two other etchings on the stones beside her that we can see. They read Fig and Kai, respectively. She picks each one of them up one at a time, double-checking her work, brushing away any last-minute dust, sets them back down. She looks out at the water, and her eyes are clearly irritated from crying. She sighs. She gets up from the bench, holding the stones in her hands, and she sort of steps down to the riverfront. She's wearing these hiking boots, perfect for getting your feet wet in. She takes a couple steps into the water. And one by one, with her organic hand, she places each stone into the water. She straightens back up, puts her hands in her pockets.
You hear behind you from the bench.
You're gonna make me cry, Valentine.
What the hell are you doing here?
I happen to like this park. And I know you like to come here when you're feeling sad.
So you're following me. It's not exactly a good idea right now.
Valentine, I don't need any details to know that you're in trouble. You think I was gonna let you leave early in the morning like that, all panicked and whatnot? Are you kidding?
Trixie hops down off the bench and will walk over to you. She takes your hand and looks down at the stones you've placed in the water.
Never known you to be one for grand gestures. Something bad happened, huh?
I mean, the whole team got wiped out, and it was my fault. No one's gonna remember them, so I thought at least someone should.
Well, I tracked down that Whitaker guy. You weren't kidding. He is agency. Down to his bones, from what I'm told. I dropped off the letter, but no one was home, so I slipped it under the door.
What? Tricks?
All right. I got curious, so I did some more digging. I'm not sure you should trust this guy, Val.
He's agency. I don't trust him. But I might need his help if this shit keeps following me.
I was afraid you might say that. Val, people die around this guy. A lot of people die around him.
What are you talking about?
Here, look at this.
And on her phone, Trixie shows you a handful of news clippings and reports, all of which describe some form of large-scale massacre or gruesome coroner report, and all of which mention, or in some cases very pointedly deny, Whitaker's involvement, which Trixie has labeled cover-up, including a recent report from Washington, D.C. 2 years ago, and an older record of a grisly event at the London office of Supernatural Affairs.
There's more blood in this guy's record than anyone I've ever looked into.
The hell? You wouldn't know it from talking to him. What does this all mean?
It can mean a lot of things, but very few of them are any good. This has all the classic signs of a curse, Valentine. Or maybe something worse.
Something worse?
Well...
Trix, what's worse?
Trixie glances around. The park is deserted, but she still stands up on the bench so she can whisper in your ear.
What do you know about vampires?